everybody? In this update, we're going to be taking a look at Invest 92L that could have major impacts into Florida and Georgia. So this is the satellite imagery of Invest 92L around like 11 o'clock at night here. This is a very well developed wave slash probably a depression. If I was a National Hurricane Center, I would probably designate this as tropical depression Beryl. Reasons are is it's really looking it yes, it's small, but it's really having that organizing feature tonight where I have noticed a much more organized system tonight than previous nights on this system. We have a continuous area of circulation within the low pressure moving here, really moving around in this deeper convection here on the inside that deep convection. This is why we keep seeing those blacks and whites. That's about 70 to 80 feet high, 1,000 feet high cloud tops. Yes, it's very small storm here. Probably could be the smallest tropical storm I've ever seen, but we're going to see how it continues throughout tonight with some very good outflow on the northern, pretty much on all quadrants here. Breathing very well. The only thing that's limiting at this storm right now is that dry air. But for what we were expecting with how this has played out so far, it is definitely overachieving, especially tonight. But this is the outflow channel on this, so it tells me that the storm is breathing. Yes, it's dealing with some dryer, but is pretty much continue to overcome the odds. And this is definitely looking into more of a tropical depression here as of tonight. Definitely with that deeper convection near the center, just keeps on wrapping. Another thing is I'm seeing is that good rotation. So as we keep looking at this, now I'm going to like to take a look at the satellite imagery of Invest 92L here. Um, so now let's take a look at the satellite. This before it was the infrared. The infrared gives you colors, tells you how high are the cloud tops. This is just the normal satellite you like to see, but once again, this is really developing into a very nice looking storm here. So we just let that play here. What I see is very strong winds coming from here, strong winds wrapping around this, and we probably have a low pressure somewhere within here, once again with the convection. But there is some good spinning that I'm seeing on the satellite tonight that I haven't seen previous nights. As of right now, once again, landfall somewhere in Georgia or Florida. This, if this ticks a little bit more north, maybe even South Carolina, just all depends how this storm takes attack on this. But very well developing storm as of tonight, and we're gonna have to see how this plays. All right. So something happened like this back in 2012 here, where Tropical Storm Beryl became a 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm. I do not think it's going to be a 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm, but I do think a pretty decently strong storm, like 1,000 millibars, is definitely possible with like a 50, maybe even 60-mile-an-hour winds. Why do I say that? Because I'm about to be showing you guys aircraft that was recorded about 3 hours ago and what they found. And if it's looking better now, then it's probably even better organized here. So this became a tropical storm. It was once subtropical, but I mean, this thing looked pretty much like the storm we have now, just a little bit bigger. And I don't think this storm is going to be exactly the way it looks, but very close on the low level cloud features of this and the position. And this was on May 27th. So just tells me that the waters actually formed on May 26th. And that's just crazy how the storm was developing in May in 2012. It was ready to barrel. So that's pretty crazy. Still a slow season. Um, but the waters were a lot colder and the environment, I don't know, really wind shear. It was once again fighting some of that dry air out ahead of it. So pretty much just like this system here. So if we take a look at the next 7 days, the updated version here. This is, and they actually haven't updated this. This is only 8 p.m. I do not know why they haven't done their cyclone update. Either way, we're at a 30% in the next 48 hours, 60% with this one. We're going to talk about this wave tomorrow after this one. This is at a 50. I pretty sure they're going to up this to a 70 or 60. They're going to raise the chances even higher of how it's looking on satellite tonight. Or maybe they're just going to go straight into tropical depression here tonight. Say this is classified as a tropical depression. They could. Once again, shear's really not anywhere to be found in this system. The upper levels are pretty nice. Once again, I'm not really going to be using the models because the models have not done a very good job with this system. It has honestly not done too much, I would like to say. But if we take a look at the models here, just briefly here. Let's take a look at the NAM because why not? I think even the NAM is downgrading the storm. And totally, yeah, but I mean, once again, it continues the next coming hours to develop, and right before landfall, I mean, it continues to strengthen into landfall. It makes landfall actually in Florida, just in the northern part. It's going to be very interesting if it makes landfall in Georgia or Florida. Because if it does make Georgia as a landfall, this will be the first tropical storm in like 30 years in Georgia. So it will be pretty historic, even once it gets named and see how it goes. All right. Um, the rain totals. If we take a look at the rain totals, really nothing big with the rain totals here. Pretty much a dead, um, dead, dried out storm. If it did form, still gonna dump some decent rain, I would say. This is the hurt. Nothing really. I mean, some showers, thunderstorms, but I mean, all you get with this thing is nothing. I mean even the rainfall. The rainfall is nothing. Near nothing is this thing. Some rainfall off the coast up to 6 inches, so you see that, but along the coast, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches at most with the her. The NAM model, definitely a little bit more with the swirl and stuff. Maybe a few inches more, 3 to 5 inches. We're just gonna have to see on that. There's another model not showing too much rain, but there is definitely some rain that I am seeing on some of the mesoscales. Doesn't really support on the radar feature, but I definitely see potentially here it to develop. I mean, look at the model; it really develops into. I think yeah, it makes landfall just in Florida right here. I mean, let me L that right there, just right there. So we're gonna have to see how the storm continues to take in place here. If we icon, ooh, just in Georgia. Georgia actually gets impacted, and then it actually gets off the East Coast. We're gonna and another thing. This is very weird to the 2012 storm. Why do I say that? Because after it makes a landfall, you think, oh, now it's just gonna go whoop inside there. Nope, it's actually going to maybe try and ride the coast. And the funny thing is to that is if we take a look back in 2012 Beryl, look at the track. It made landfall and then once again got slingshotted out. Why was that? Probably because of the high pressure. But it tells you that the similarities really stand, and it's like the replica of Tropical Storm Beryl back in 2012. So now I'm gonna. That's it, pretty much with the models. But I'm gonna take a little bit more of an in-depth look of the aircraft and the satellite before I go. This is the aircraft look. They did find in the upper levels winds up to 30 to 40 knots. That's about actually up to 50 miles an hour in winds sustained, and they actually found some sustained. So, like I said, the chances for a 60-mile-an-hour storm wouldn't rule me out. Um, they did find a closed low level center just to the south of that deep convection earlier today. I kind of thought it was more in the convection, but I think now it's definitely in that convection. That's why we had that persisting convection that we're seeing now. But still, south. Definitely earlier was south loose, and that these winds up here were definitely a lot stronger. So I'm very curious how this storm is now, with the aircraft. So maybe tomorrow morning we wake up and this thing is a 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm. It's definitely possible that this storm quickly organizes. And another thing, actually, I forgot to say. So they haven't updated. That's very weird why they haven't updated that. I don't have any information on that. But let's take out a recon. Let's take a look at the water test because that's one thing I forgot in this video here. Western Atlantic. And my curious, okay, so that's the waters, right? The question is, has it made it over the Gulf Stream? And that will be answered any moment. And is it 78? That's not. No, it has actually not made into the Gulf Stream. If I'm doing this right, the storm, if I'm planting this correct right now, it's actually in some cooler waters in this current timing. It's like right over here. So I think the low level center is right here. So it hasn't even made it to the Gulf Stream. And the Gulf Stream is with 28, maybe even reaching 29. So it definitely still has a lot of more time going over the Gulf Stream, might give it even more boost as later tonight. So I think the chances are extremely high of developing. So do not let your guard down if you do see that happen. Um, the ocean heat content's very well established, much more than back in 2012. So we're gonna have to be careful because that storm in 2012, I'm very curious. So it actually became a 70-mile-an-hour storm pretty quick because you have to look at that. That's actually pretty unique here. So this was when it was subtropical, right? It was subtropical here, but then look, it became a tropical storm here. I really wonder, but then a 70-mile-an-hour storm right before. So it tells you that it was some rapid, intensifying with that last minute, and that was because of the Gulf Stream. And if this storm continues to look how it is, this can quickly um, overperform by quite a bit in my eyes. And I'm seeing some other people talk about this too. So one last look before I go is the satellite. I mean, it just continues to look better and better as the night goes on here. That convection, yes, it's small. Yes, it's not nothing too big, but it's continuing to grow slowly but surely. It's growing into a bigger system, and like I said, maybe that low level center is once again wrapping around. Because if you look at that, just play it. Look how the convection is just really exploding in this one part right there. And then we're seeing more showers and thunderstorms blowing up on the southwestern side. So that's going to become a bigger thing. Maybe that's going to be sucked into here. So that tells me there's banding features trying to develop, and it's breathing very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a rapid intensification storm into a 60 miles an hour storm. So we're gonna have to be careful with Beryl tomorrow potentially. If not, still gonna bring major impacts. Probably some gusty winds. Most doubt this is gonna bring some gusty winds and some benefit rains. But that's gonna wrap it up in this one. Sorry for wasting all your time with this to now, but please subscribe and like. Have a great night.